This is Moonshine and Music with Joe Shelton. Wait a minute, that's me. Anyway, we're going to bring you some inspiring songwriters, musicians, and maybe some side challenges and other stuff around the music industry. So stick with us right now, because the show is coming your way. Woo! Moonshine and Music starts right now. Welcome to Moonshine and Music. We're here today with Gary Wasson. How you doing, Gary?
Doing well, thank you, Joe.
Great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
We're slowly working our way through everyone that's been in the band Cotto, and in about 3 or 4 seasons we'll get there.
Okay. Very good.
But we've had Frank and John and John Gilmore on as well. John Martin, Frank Dean. I don't know if I've had any other Syndicatos. You were in Syndicato.
Absolutely, yes.
And among other bands, correct?
Uh-huh. Yeah. The Spud Puppies, in particular, in the mid-2000s up to about 2008 or 9. And then a trio called Noble Roots with John Gilmore and Kelly Yates. And yes, John Gilmore played with Syndicato on a date we had at the Jazz Kitchen.
Right. Kelly Yates, is that from Mama's Homemade, Kelly Yates?
Uh-huh. Sure is.
Wow.
Yeah.
I missed out on that trio. I need to.
Yeah. We put out a CD.
I didn't realize it was her. I think I've heard that CD.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. That's her.
Because she's been on the show also. Mama's Homemade's been on.
Okay. I thought I'd seen that. I thought I'd seen that they had been.
Yeah. Did you start out, are you from Indy originally? Where are you from?
I'm from Ohio.
Wow.
I grew up in a little town called Sidney, Ohio, which is about 50 miles north of Dayton, right along I-75.
Okay.
And I moved first to Dayton, and took a job right out of college in Dayton for about 1.5 years. And then in '84, I moved to Indianapolis.
I see. What college did you go to?
Job. Bowling Green in Ohio, Bowling Green State University.
Yeah, another Mac school.
Yep. Yeah.
What was that for? What was your?
I wound up with a degree in American Studies, which is an interdisciplinary program with its history and political science, philosophy, some art. It's just, study of American culture and American history and the interconnectedness of those various disciplines. And I had a concentration in writing. And I, in fact, for the first about 13, 14 years of my working life, I was a technical writer. First at the company in Dayton, and then for Allison Gas Turbine division of General Motors.
So you wrote like the books that explain all of the parts and pieces?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the technical manuals for, I worked on a series of trucks that the Army had purchased from Oshkosh Truck Company up in Wisconsin. And then it was at Allison, it was for the engines.
Right.
Yeah.
So when did you start playing music? How old were you?
Well, I started, my grandfather was a pastor, and my dad was the choir director and the music director at church. And I've been singing since I was too young to remember, I'm sure. And then my dad had a gospel quartet that was 4 guys about his age, and they would go around and sing at various churches and stuff in the area. And I wound up in that outfit for a little while, and so that's when I started kind of getting on stage with a group like that. In high school, I was in musicals and in choir, and so playing music. I didn't do much music when I was in college, and then for a few years after that, even I didn't do very much except casually with some friends. And then in the late '80s, I began to play with some friends and some people I didn't know really, and that's kind of when I started. And that's about when I would have met Frank Dean at that time.
So what kind of musicals? I want to back up to that. What were you in?
I was in,
sounds like
let's
fun
see,
stuff.
the first was Bye Bye Birdie.
Oh, really? Okay.
I would have been I think a sophomore or maybe a freshman. And I think I played a bartender or something, maybe. I'm not sure. I was in a couple plays that were not musicals too, but then was My Fair Lady.
Oh, okay.
And I had a little bigger part in that and did some singing and dancing. And then in my senior year, I was in The Music Man.
Oh.
And
all classics.
Had the lead role for that one, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great time.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. And,
so as you got into indie and you started playing with Frank and those guys, did you when did you start writing songs? Was it around the same time, or was it?
No, it wasn't. I didn't write anything much until the mid-2000s, early to mid-2000s. And I've only got a couple songs that I really share with people. I don't write a lot, but that's about when that started. And one of the songs that I will play for folks, I showed it to Frank, I showed it to Ralph Jeffers, and they both had some ideas for me. And so I almost hesitate to say I'm a songwriter because I just don't write that many songs, but I do. Things do come to me, and I write them down and try to get them to fit together somehow.
Well, you collaborate with the other folks, right? Maybe not on the songwriting, but on the arrangements and things.
Sure.
Or?
Yeah. Sure. With Cotto, the second album, which we refer to as the Black Album, just because that's the color of the album CD cover. Frank gave me a co-producing credit, and that had to do with just kind of how to put together the songs, how to ideas for what people played sometimes, just different ideas, which I guess is what a producer does. I've never had that clear an idea what a producer does, but I think it's got a lot to do with arranging how the album sounds and how the songs fit together and so forth.
I'd say that's, producers are kind of the catch-all, right? They do all things for the record to get it out there. Some of them are, in my experience, some of the producers are quite hands-off, and they just kind of like give a little dabble here and there and put people on the path. And then others, are really knee-deep in the full production of the music, and I think it's an interesting thing. I know I did some producing of a couple of other records that aren't mine, and I felt like those I was way less involved. You know what I mean? Like, whereas when it was my own creative effort, I'm so knee deep in it. It does. There's no line between artist and producer when I'm doing when I'm doing my own. So I think it's an interesting thing. A lot of people, the definition of who does what and how they get that credit is a topic that like we could go on forever about. Probably, who's the technical advisor or the the mixing and mastering is also a gray line between, right? Somebody who does
the
both of
engineers,
those,
the recording engineers will have ideas, and really those Syndicato records, it was frank for the most part, but everybody had input, and some producers are pretty readily identifiable. You can tell without exactly knowing exactly who. You can get an idea of who produced the record.
Just their spin on it is very distinctive.
Yeah.
Do you, when you were playing with those guys and playing the bigger shows and things, do you was that a highlight for you, the Syndicato time, or are there other things you feel like are your bigger?
Syndicato has been. I never ever expected to be doing the things that Syndicato ended up doing. We opened shows for so many pros and so many of my heroes, really, and just the number of records that we did, and the various kinds of music that we did. So it was just something that I always had an idea that I would love to be playing music, and I figured it would be fairly casual, but that band turned out to be a very big deal, especially around here. So, not that other bands that I haven't enjoyed and loved the people that I've played with in the other bands. The Spud Puppies was a great band, and I got to do a lot of really fun stuff with them that I never particularly expected to do. But I always, I get pretty emotionally involved with bands and musicians and get pretty attached to what we're doing, and I take it really seriously. And so I'm with a new outfit now, relatively new outfit called the Auburns, that has been doing the kind of style of music that I probably, from an early age, in my early teens, really gravitated toward, which was the country rock stuff from the late 60s, early 70s that had elements of rock and roll, but also elements of classic country, which I was exposed to a lot when I was a kid.
So who all's in the Auburns?
That's David Garza.
Love David. He was on the show.
Yeah. Great guy. All great guys. Joe Alterio, plays pedal steel. David Garza sings and plays rhythm guitar and has a couple of songs of his that we do. And then Joe Alterio plays pedal steel. John Martin, my duo mate and bandmate in Cotto, he plays electric guitar and sings. And then Dave Pleece plays drums, and I play bass and sing. And everybody in the band sings. It's 5 really strong vocalists. And we have done, 7 or 8 shows. And
I heard that you guys had a new thing. I haven't gotten a chance to drop in on an Auburns show yet. I'm gonna have to do that.
It's a really good band, and it's everybody's talents are matched up pretty well, and I'm excited to see what'll happen with that. I think now it is a pretty straight up cover band with a few songs from David Garza, but I think there's room in that band for a lot of original material too, if that comes to be.
Well, you certainly got a talented cast, so I'm sure something cool is going to happen. I know David, he has that song called Corner Store that, like, every time I think David Garza, that song pops into my head and it won't leave.
Yeah, he does. He's got some very catchy songs.
And so that's always nice to bring into a band, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
A couple of really catchy hooks.
Yeah, yes, indeed.
Another thing, I know that I believe I met you when you were hosting an open stage, and I know you still host one. What is the thing you like most about doing that kind of thing, where you're doing a hosting of folks coming in that are brand new and some that are seasoned?
There's always a lot of joy in seeing somebody who comes in and who is new to so many people that have come into open mics, open stages that I've hosted. It's their first time on stage ever, and some of them are, they're fairly casual about it, and some are just obviously scared to death. And I just try to do what I can to reassure them that we're here to support rather than criticize. We're here to enjoy what you do and help you enjoy it. I've been hosting open mics since 2003, and I've seen
that's a long time. Yeah.
Seen a lot of folks, made some good friends, and seen bands come together and take off from something like that, and that makes me happy and proud that open stage was a place where they could cut their teeth and kind of get moving with things.
That's pretty cool. Do we have the Moonshine life coach? Is he available out there for the day?
Yeah.
We're gonna bring him in. This is Brent Lee Smith, comedian, Moonshine life coach.
How do you do?
He always has a few words of wisdom for the guests.
Very good.
We should note that he does not have his certification yet, and he's working on that.
Yeah, I'm only 22,032 hours away from being certified.
It's a drop in the bucket.
Yeah, especially when the bucket is in the ocean. But I take it seriously, as do the people who run the certification process. Got to make sure everything's on the up and up. So you get lots of practice before you can run to practice.
Indeed. Indeed.
Did you have anything specific that you wanted to work on, or?
Time management.
Time management?
Yeah.
Get a watch.
Got a lot of watches. Got a few watches, but
Maybe wear it.
wear it. Look at it, maybe.
Occasionally.
Yeah.
From time to time.
From time to time.
So that's what you need to manage is like when you're actually gonna, take a look at it. Is that?
Yeah.
They even come with little alarms and everything, so you can look at it at the same time every day.
Yes. Sure enough.
Yeah. I had a couple ideas for you, two more about branding.
Okay.
Maybe add like a nickname in your name, kind of like a fighter.
Okay.
So you can be like, Gary, what's up, Wasson?
Okay.
And with a band, or you just do the band, Gary and the What's Ups.
And the What's Ups?
Or maybe Gary in Indiana, but not from Gary, Indiana.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful when Gary sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, you're a Gary. Gary's have to be careful being Gary.
You do. There can be confusion about that.
A little bit, yeah, especially for people who aren't from Gary or who aren't named Gary. They just associate everything all together. Oh yeah, Gary's.
Yeah, indeed.
Another thing, I think maybe you should kind of tone things down a little bit. You don't want to scare people away being so loud and boisterous.
Yes. Okay.
Maybe just like if right now you're at a 10, which is just the point of reference. Maybe dial it down to like a 9.45. 9.47 if you're like really feeling it.
Okay. Very good.
And another thing, have you thought of doing pigtails with your hair?
Pigtails.
And then,
Not currently.
Okay, I could do two of them and then dye them different colors. One like fuchsia and the other like brown.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Those colors
I
go
could do with
together.
some color, I'm sure.
Yeah, they got professionals to help you out.
They do.
Is this like the going for the Billie Eilish look or something or?
Who's that?
Never mind.
My sister's a Billy, but her eyelashes are fine. It's her eyebrows she has trouble with. She makes do.
I see.
Any last questions or anything that's on your mind maybe I could help you with?
I'm sure as soon as I get in the car and start driving home, it'll come up. Do you have a card?
I don't have a card yet. Like you have to be certified first.
Oh, that's right, you would. Well, you can print a card anywhere, pretty much.
Yeah, but they track that. Like there's an app on my phone that tracks everything I do.
Okay.
Yeah, they work hand in hand with Facebook. So like you talk about something and there's an ad for it, and then if you click on the ad and it's the wrong ad, then they add in 1,000 hours to your internship.
They are rough.
But I can give you a number, just a 2. You're the second person to ask for it. So,
Okay. Well, thank you.
so just think of 2, and if I'm thinking 2 at the same time, and we happen to be nearby, we can work something out.
Yeah. Sure enough. Yeah. You bet.
All right, well, I'll let you get back to Joe. I got to go find someone else because we're only allowed so much time per client,
Ah, okay.
and if I go over, then it doesn't count.
Okay. All right. Well,
I've learned that the hard way. That's why I'm back up to 22,032 hours.
okay. Well,
Well,
that's good to meet you, and thank you for your advice.
Yeah, hope something works out. But
Thank you. Thank you so
pigtails
much.
for sure.
Brent Lee Smith, Moonshine life coach. Take what he says with a grain of salt.
It's like a boulder.
We bring him on to lighten the mood. So, what are the couple songs you're going to perform today?
One is called 5,500 Days, and the other is called Girl from Wisconsin.
All right. Do you have any insights into these, or are you just going to give those to us on the stage?
No, I think they're not real convoluted or anything. I think
They're gonna speak for themselves?
I think it'll come through pretty well.
All right. Well, I know Frank has a thing. If you need to explain the songs, then you haven't done your job with putting them together.
Yeah.
So, and I disagree with him and tell him I like to tell the big long story around it anyway.
Well,
but you know, we have our own. Everybody has their own thing, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really been fun chatting with you this morning, and I can't wait to hear you sing.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it.
You ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
All right, we'll be right back on Moonshine and Music with Gary Wasson. Thanks.
Thank you. This next song is called Girl from Wisconsin. Was a girl from Wisconsin, met her there on a job. I was up from Ohio, turning dials and knobs. 60 hours a week, steaks and liquor each day. $100 per diem, plus the overtime pay. And this girl, just a friend, her whole family up there. Brothers ran a nice tavern, never been anywhere. But they hated their mother, who had been such a drunk. They laid them all down with a strap from the truck. When the job was all done, I had to be on my way. My friend gave me a puppy for my going away. I'd been gone for 6 months when her phone call came through. Mom is sick with a tumor, can I please come see you? And this girl, just a friend, her whole family up there. Brothers ran a nice tavern, never been anywhere. But they hated their mother, who had been such a drunk. She laid them all down with a strap from a trunk. I bet I don't have to tell you that when she came to town, that the friendship we had, it changed all around. And it was back to Wisconsin, to her brothers and mom. There was no dad to help them, he'd been gone for so long. And this girl, just a friend, her whole family up there. Brothers ran a nice tavern, never been anywhere. But they hated their mother, who had been such a drunk. She laid them all down with a strap from a trunk. In the meantime, I settled with a girl from my town. She had found my lost puppy and started hanging around. Was a girl from Wisconsin, who had been just a friend, called to tell me one night that her mother was dead. Was a girl from Wisconsin, they had buried her mom, and she told me in detail, and the end was not come. I'd been married 6 months when her phone call came through. I have lost my poor mother, can I please come see you? And this girl, just a friend, her whole family up there. Brothers ran a nice tavern, never been anywhere. But they hated their mother, who had been such a drunk. She laid them all down with a strap from a trunk. And this girl, just a friend, her whole family up there. Brothers ran a nice tavern, never been anywhere. But they hated their mother, who had been such a drunk. She laid them all down with a strap from a trunk. Thank you. The song is called 5,500 Days. I've counted the days since you left me. Tore page after page. no better. You knew I was fool enough to come. You still got your hooks in me, honey, I ain't free. Wish you'd turn me loose and let me run. At 55, 100 days since you left me. At 55, 100 days you stayed away. You tore me up alive and an ember burns inside. Wish the hell you'd turn and walk away. I should back away from you, honey. The good Lord surely knows I wish I could. But your good looks and charms and all that money, it's hard for me to do the thing I should. And 55, 100 days since you left me. 55, 100 days you stayed away. You tore me up alive and an ember burns inside. Wish the hell you'd turn and walk away. You tore me up alive and an ember burns inside. Wish the hell you'd turn and walk away. Thank you. Thanks very much.
Moonshine in Music is a presentation of Notlehs Entertainment. Copyright 2020, all rights reserved. The producer for today's show was Joe Shelton. Our cameraman, grip, and stunt double was Brent Lee Smith. On cameras and all sorts of other things, Bailey Shelton. And our staff guru is Brent Schlemmer. Join us each Sunday for new episodes right here with Moonshine and Music.